Okay, so introduce yourself for me.
Okay, my name is Efrat, and I'm from Israel. I have no idea how I got into Bard, but I'm here and I'm about to be done with it, so that's what I'm thinking
Great. Yeah. Well, okay. So I just have a couple questions for you.
of.
First question being, what does like the idea of the home and the house mean to you in your work?
I guess I really needed to create a personal space, like badly, when I first got into this studio, when it was so white and empty. It's also connected to my trip to Japan when I realized that that Israel is my home, even if I hate it and I don't want to ever go back there. It's still the only place I can see as home. So, and also I was thinking about the industrial things and the system of the house, and electricity and the pipes, and also I was thinking about the renewability, and so this what happened.
Okay. Yeah. I actually wanted to ask like about your time in Japan and how you feel like that has affected your work and this work in particular.
Yeah. Yes, it's hard to see what's the connection to Japan when I say that I'm Asian studies, Japanese studies. I guess it's a very, very, very personal connection. It's not immediately seen, like visible here. But mainly it's probably a way of contemporary art, and because I was dealing with contemporary Japanese artists in my work that weren't necessarily doing like origami and and papers and stuff.
Yeah.
I felt like it will be connected because it's like inviting. It's like a way of how to say modern art of like inviting people into the artwork. I kind of look at it as a painting if you get into it. So I was reading about a bunch of Japanese artists that were doing kind of similar things in the sense of contemporary art, but during the 50s. So I know it just inspired by them. But essentially this is a very, very personal kind of thing about house and place, and yeah, so I connected myself to it.
Yeah. How would you describe your creative process? Like, I guess with this work in particular, how did you start? Like, how did you decide that you wanted to paint on all the walls and transform your studio?
So basically most of the spaces that look like windows where I put a painting and painted over a painting, and then I went out of the frame a little bit into the wall, and then I was thinking that it looks nice on the wall, so I just removed the paintings and continued it on the wall. And in the beginning it was like I didn't know where my limit would be, like where the frame would end, but then it just didn't end, so I just
Yeah.
continued it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that there was a performance in here
Mm-hmm.
on the opening day. I just wanted to maybe talk about how you felt about like interacting with this space, or like what you thought was important about the performance.
So the performance was a very personal thing. It was just me speaking speaking in Hebrew about being alone in the house and how I feel comfortable about being alone in my house, and I feel like inviting the audience to be here in the space that I created and made very me, kind of, was part of it, as well as the fact that I didn't really understand what I was saying. But I was doing household activities, like I was cleaning the floor and preparing food and typing on the computer. So it was a very obvious thing, like they could see what I was doing and
Yeah.
understand, but they didn't understand what I was talking about. And I think it's related to the paper that I was doing, because I was doing a joint project, and essentially it was connecting like the perform. I mean, there was kind of supposed to be a scenery, to
Yeah.
The performance stuff. Yeah, I should have done it more times maybe.
Maybe. Just kind of wondering about, like, you decided to paint on the walls and kind of just completely transform this room. Are you interested in architecture at all? Or is it just what architecture represents?
Yeah, I'm not an architectural person because I'm just not straight and cannot do precise things at all. Yeah, these walls are not architecture.
Yeah, so I guess we're talking about architecture as the idea behind it, or like.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an expressive work. It's supposed to be a breathing space, a breathing room, a living room, not a living room.
Right.
A
A living, breathing room.
Yes, and yeah, it's more about the atmosphere and the idea of a creature. Like this room's supposed to be a creature, but it's not about me actually building structures because it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So I guess one of my final question was, it's kind of a two-part question, I guess. First, like, what was your favorite part about this process, and what was the hardest part about this process, I guess?
My favorite part about this process was just having a room to do whatever I wanted with it because I really never had the opportunity to do something like this. Without my mom in it to tell me what not to do and how to do stuff, it was very nice. The hard part actually was the same thing. to be here and be kind of stuck in here and just I have to stay here and do things like without getting out of here. So yeah, some people told me that it looks like a jail room with like I make mark on the walls until I get out of here, which is very, very true. Like most of the monks here were like, I must get out of here. Like, especially for the end of the process when I completely got crazy by this room because it was too long for me. So I'm ready to paint it white actually.
Yeah,
I'm
I think.
ready for it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Say goodbye.
Do you have any plans after school, after graduating, to keep pursuing art, or?
Yeah, of course. I do. I'm not sure what exactly. I don't think it will be similar to this project. I would love to walk outside, do something outside.
Right.
Something, I don't know if environmental, but something with nature. Like something that is not probably the complete opposite of this. Yes.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much for talking to me, and looks great in here. Gonna just take a look around.